So, does this movie connect to the first Transformers movie? Alright, here we are on day 12 of the 13th for the 13th, and today we're looking at the last movie in this series, Friday the 13th, from 2009. This serves as sort of a reboot, reimagining, remake, whatever you want to call it, and takes various things from the first 4 films in the series. So, the movie starts with the end of Pamela Voorhees' murder spree, where she is decapitated by a camp counselor there, and it turns out Jason was watching. Fast forward about 30-ish years or so, and there's a group of friends who show up at Crystal Lake for a camping trip and to find some, marijuana. But their first night there, Jason kills all of them except for the girl Whitney. He captures her due to her apparent resemblance to his mother, although we don't find out about her being captured until later in the movie. About a month and a half later, there's another group of friends that go to a house on Crystal Lake that is owned by the character Trent's family. We find out that Whitney's brother, Clay, is looking for her. He's putting up signs everywhere asking people in the town if they've seen her. He visits Trent's cabin where Trent's girlfriend, Jenna, goes with him to search. 2 of the friends are killed on the lake, and later on Clay and Jenna see Jason with the body while at the old Crystal Lake campgrounds. Obviously they go back to the cabin to warn everyone else. Jason kills a few more of the friends, and Trent, Clay, and Jenna escape the cabin, although Trent is killed when he gets to the main road. Clay and Jenna go back to the old campgrounds, followed by Jason, where they discover Jason's underground lair, and Whitney is found. They free her and they all attempt to escape, but Jenna is unfortunately killed before she's able to make it out. Jason corners Clay and Whitney in a barn, and Whitney decides to pull a Jenny from part 2 and pretend to be Pamela Voorhees. Due to this, both Jenna and Clay are able to take Jason out. The next day, the 2 of them are on a dock on Crystal Lake where they dump Jason's body into the water along with his mask. And just before they're able to leave, Jason bursts through the wooden dock and grabs Whitney, and it cuts to black. What a cliffhanger. And that's the story, and it's definitely stuff that we've seen before. It's kind of neat to see things from the first 4 movies kind of remixed here and there and how they're used differently. Overall, while nothing spectacular, and I know I've said similar things to that quite a lot during this series, but you know, it works for what it is. So characters, man, I absolutely love Jason in this movie. Jason, as portrayed by Derek Mears, might be my favorite version of the character. I just love how lean and athletic he is and how just genuinely scary he is in this movie. The physicality is awesome. I love his look. I do appreciate that they bring back the sack head for the start of the movie, and we kind of see him trade out the sack head for the hockey mask. To a point, I actually kind of prefer this look compared to the look in part 2. Just because I always thought the overalls was just a little silly, but still it's cool to see it here. And then of course I like his look in general, especially with the hockey mask. The hockey mask is based off of the one from parts 3 and 4, and it looks fantastic here. I also like seeing him get the mask. This is also the only look for Jason where I actually kind of like him having the strands of hair. Usually I'm not a fan, but maybe it's just because this one is separate from the regular series that like I don't really mind it. Overall though, it's a great performance. It's a great look for Jason, and this might be my favorite overall version of Jason Voorhees. Then there's Clay Miller, portrayed by Jared Padalecki. I'm not a Supernatural fan, so that never really popped in my mind during this movie, at least when I first saw it. But he's good in the movie. I like his character a lot. He's kind of like Rob from part 4, except I feel like he's actually good at doing stuff. Jenna, man, you know what? It sucks that she dies in this movie because I actually liked her a good bit, and I remember when I first saw this movie in the theater, I was genuinely shocked when she died. There's Clay's sister Whitney. I like her a good bit, and I always appreciate seeing the Jenny thing come back from the end of part 2. It's kind of cool that she did a similar thing. I don't think it's quite as good as what Jenny did in part 2, but it's pretty cool to see the nod here. And again, I like her a good bit as a character, and man, I couldn't imagine being Jason's captive for that long. Now we get to the biggest douchebag to quite possibly ever douchebag in these movies, Trent. Now what's funny is the actor Travis Van Winkle also played a character named Trent in the first Transformers movie from 2007, which was of course directed by Michael Bay, who is a producer on this movie. I just always found that interesting just because it's like, whoa, do Jason and Optimus Prime exist in the same universe? One of his friends I like a lot is Chewie. Man, he really helped make the movie. The actor's great, he's really funny, he really stood out for me and my friends that went and saw it, and overall, he's pretty great. Otherwise, I feel like a lot of the friends start to kind of blend together. Like, they're not bad, but they're definitely just kind of there, as usual, to get killed. And speaking of that, let's get to the kills. And I think this movie has quite a few good ones. Starting off, dear God, the sleeping bag kill. What is with Jason and sleeping bags? But man, just having the girl strung up inside of the sleeping bag over a fire being roasted inside, brutal as hell. Probably the most brutal, coolest, whatever you want to say, of the film. Just dear God. There's a cool one with the cop that shows up at Crystal Lake where Jason stabs him through the eye, and there's a really cool shot where you move with the thing as it moves through the door, like his eye comes through the other side of the door. I love the one where I guess Jason's a good archer now, where he shoots a guy on a lake from a great distance while the dude's in a boat. Put Jason up there with like Hawkeye, man. Also, the way Jason kills Trent is pretty damn brutal, but also a bit deserving for how much of a douche that guy is, with stabbing him from behind and lifting him up in the air and then impaling him on stuff on the back of this truck. Brutal as hell, man. This Jason does not play around. One topic which I haven't really covered too much in this series, but I wanted to mention here, is some of the sex and the nudity in the movie. Cause like, man, this one I feel like is borderline pornographic sometimes. And look, 14-year-old me when this movie came out did not mind. Hell, 27-year-old me recording this right now doesn't mind. But I don't know, even more so than usual, this one just felt like, yeah, look at what's going on. Hell, almost even more so than Part 5, A New Beginning, and that one's like the sleazy one. But yes, looking at the legacy of the movie, unfortunately this was the last Friday the 13th movie made, just before stuff got pushed back and changed, and now of course the whole lawsuit thing. And you know, it seemed pretty split in terms of the reaction when it first came out. There were a lot of people that liked it, a lot of people that hated it. I personally loved this one when it came out, and I still do like this one a lot. I think this has one of the best opening sequences in any horror movie, if not the best, because it's a full like 15-ish minutes or so before you even see the title, and it's basically a mini movie right there. And I thought this movie did a good job of really making Jason badass. Granted, he's always been a badass, but even more so than usual, I feel. I just thought this really nailed a lot of the things that you would want from a Friday the 13th movie. It had a lot of cool nods to the series, even if it's small stuff like seeing a wheelchair in the tunnels. And I just like this more intelligent Jason. He's smarter, he's faster, he has traps. I love the idea of the tunnels. I don't see that as trying to, you know, over-explain anything from the older movies. This is just a bit of a different take on the character. And it sucks that this is likely the only one we're gonna see from this specific version, because I thought this was great. So yeah, on the whole, this movie for me is a fun time. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. It's got possibly the best Jason, some great kills, some genuinely funny scenes, and some entertaining characters, I feel like, especially Chewie. So I would highly recommend this one. This is one of my top favorites from the series, but where is it gonna rank? Well, you guys will find that out tomorrow on Friday the 13th, where I'll be doing a ranking of all 13 movies in the series. And before that in the video, I'm gonna have a few extra talking points, some things I maybe didn't mention from my other reviews, and just some extra stuff to help throw in some stuff for everyone sticking around to the end of this series. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. As always, a big thank you to everyone for watching, and have a good one.